Hi, everyone. Today we are going to be talking a little bit more about the mean, but specifically kind of taking the mean one step further and talking about what happens if there is a missing piece of data and we are given the mean. How do we find what that missing piece of data is? So, just a few things to review. To find the mean, we add all the values together. So, we add everything together. And then we end up dividing that sum by however many values are given. Okay, so we add and divide. Today, we're going to be looking at it from a different lens because we have to find what that missing part is. We will still be adding and we will still be technically dividing, but you'll also see that we're going to be doing the opposites of these two or the inverse of these two operations as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is just a very simple one. They give us 1, 2, 3, 4 different values, and they already tell us that the mean is 6. The problem is this x right here. We do not know what this value is. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up like we normally would for a finding the mean. So we would add 3, 5, so 3 plus 5 plus x plus 9. We know that once we add them together, we divide by however many values there are. So that I would be dividing by 1, 2, 3, 4, dividing by 4. And that would give me my answer of a mean of 6. Does everyone see how I got that? Because this is how you find the mean. You add the numbers together and divide by however many numbers there are, and that would equal our answer of the mean. Okay, the problem is, though, we've got this x right here. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of this division sign and the 4. So the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So I'm going to multiply each side of my equation by 4. So times 4. Okay, so we know when we multiply by 4 on this side, these are opposites, so these actually cancel. And all I'm left with on this side is this whole long addition problem. So 3 plus 5 plus x plus 9 equals, and then 6 times 4 is 24. So this whole thing equals 24. Now, if you remember back in combining like terms, I can actually add all three, 1, 2, these three values together. I cannot add the x to it because it is an unlike term. So when I add these three numbers together, 3 plus 5 plus 9, I get 17. I'm going to bring down the plus x equals, and then I still have that 24. All right, this is where we practice drawing the equal track, circling your variable. Now let's do the opposite to each side. So the opposite of adding 17 is subtracting 17. Subtracting 17. These cancel. I'm left with x equals 24 minus 17 is 7. So we find that the missing value here should be 7. Okay, which makes sense because it's still kind of similar to our data set, and our mean is also similar to our data set. Okay, let's go ahead and practice another one. Very simple, very similar to the last problem. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and set up our mean. So we add all these numbers together. So we have 43 plus 57 plus 63 plus 52, these numbers are a little larger, plus x, because that's still part of the data set, equals, after we add all these together, then we divide by however many values there are. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values, so divide by 5. And our answer would then be a mean of 58. So I'm going to write 58 on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get rid of this divided by 5. So in order to do that, the opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So I'm going to multiply each side by 5, multiply by 5. Okay, these 5s cancel, and I'm left with this long addition problem. So I've got 43 plus 57 plus 63 plus 52 plus x equals, and then 58 times 5, we can do off to the side, 58 times 5, this is 40. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29. So you get 290. So this whole thing equals 290. Okay, same thing as before. These are all like terms. So I can add all of these together. Okay, I cannot add the x to it because it's not a like term. So when I add all of those together, I'm going to spare you guys from me adding everything together because you guys know how to add. So when you add all those four numbers together, you get 215 plus x equals 290. Okay, this is where we draw our equal track. We circle our variable, and we do the opposite to each side. So right now we're adding 215. I'm going to subtract 215 and subtract 215. These cancel since they're opposites, and we're left with x equals 290. So I have to borrow. This becomes 8. 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 1 is 7. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So x equals 75 is my final answer, which once again makes sense because it's kind of part of my data set, and so is my mean. Okay? Let's try one more problem. All right, this is more of a real life example. This might be helpful for you. This is about Stacy. She wants to earn an 88% in her chemistry class, which would be her the average. So she has one more quiz that she needs to take. On the first 5 quizzes, these are her scores. Okay. What must she score on the 6th quiz in order to get an 88% in the class? Okay, so we are told basically right now that she wants the mean to be an 88%. And we need to know for a 6th score, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she has one more quiz to take. So I'm going to put X%. We don't know what the 6th one is. Okay, so we're going to literally follow the same steps as we did before. You do not need to include the percent signs. Okay, so what we do to find the mean is we add all of these together. So 74 plus 92 plus 83 plus 98 plus 100 plus that 6th quiz she hasn't taken yet. Once we add those together, we typically divide by however many there are, and they're going to be 6 quizzes, equals, and then we want the mean to be 88%. So 88. Okay, let's go ahead and start by getting rid of this divided by 6. The opposite of dividing by 6 is multiplying by 6. So I'm going to multiply each side by 6. Those 6's cancel. I have this long addition problem. So I have 74 plus 92 plus 83 plus 98 plus 100 plus x equals, and then 88 times 6 is 528. Okay, now I can add all of these together. So if I add these numbers together, I get 447 plus x equals 528. Okay, we draw our equal track, circle our variable. Let's do the opposite to each side, which is subtracting 447. Subtract 447. These cancel, and you get that x equals 81, which means if x equals 81, that means she has to score an 81% on her 6th quiz in order to get an 88% in the class.